He was very explosive temper, grab you by the neck and lift you off the ground, smash you into the wall. Every single day of my life, I would be told, you're worthless, you're going to amount to nothing.
You had a rough and difficult childhood, to say the least. You were brought up by a single mother. Your first sexual experience was at age 8, and that's because you were raped and your stepdad was very physically and verbally abusive. That just sounds like hell, to be totally honest with you. Is it possible just to talk about that a little bit at all?
I have no problem talking about it. My childhood was, and you also didn't talk about the religious trauma too. Overlay on top of that, being raised by a very old school Catholic mom, grandma, my mom's cousin is a Jesuit in the Vatican. My grandfather's brother was the bishop of the state of South Dakota for 28 years, right? So like deeply punitive Catholic type of, upbringing. Went to a religious school and also raised in poverty too, which by American standards. So I have to clarify that. By world standards, I was doing well, but by American standards, I was very poor. And so all of it combined just made childhood very difficult and caused a lot of lasting damage, particularly with my stepdad. Like he was the worst of it. He's one of those people that every single day of my life, I would be told, you're worthless, you're going to amount to nothing, you're going to be in prison, you're going to be digging ditch. It's just that type of stuff like all the time. He was very explosive temper, grab you by the neck and lift you off the ground, smash you into the wall. And like that was like a daily type of thing. And so it was very traumatic and it was very damaging, right? And so I'm still to this day, I'm almost 50, I'll be 50 next year, still going through trying to unwind some of that damage. I did go to therapy when I was living up in Seattle. I had a great therapist, he's a PhD at the University of Washington, deals with trauma and addiction and a bunch of other things. And he told me essentially, look, you can't unravel a lot of this stuff. The solution to damage caused by child abuse is to not abuse a child, right? He likened it to being in a car crash, like a horrible car accident where you get mangled when you're 5 years old. He's like expecting an adult to walk without a limp after that. It's impossible. There's just lasting damage. It's like you can work on it. You can certainly improve some things, but I think he level set me a little bit as far as expectations, because I always struggled with seeing other people that were maybe coming from a better family, non-abusive background, a little bit well adjusted. And I would look at them and be like, man, I really want to get there. And I think going to therapy helped me get comfortable with the fact that there's not going to be normalcy for me, right? There's a better and a worse, and I can continue to improve and get better each day, which I'm working on. But ultimately, there's been damage, and that's just a fact. And trying to not project that forward onto my kids has really been my focus. Not for my selfish purposes. Hey, I want to feel better about myself and try to feel healthier, more mentally well adjusted. It's like, how do I not perpetuate the cycle, and how do I interrupt this so it doesn't get passed down to the next generation? That's really where my mind has been probably my whole life. Even before I was really self-aware of a lot of the trauma, it was just man, I don't want to mess up my kids.